Alain walks the streets of Antibes in southern France with his young son, Sam, sitting on top of his shoulders among other baggage. They stand on the curb as Alain, also known as Ali, tries to hitch a ride. They resort to getting on a train where Sam relieves himself in the bathroom after God knows how long. Ali is trying to figure out what to do next when Sam informs him of his hunger. As they travel more, they not only wolf down the food given to them on the bus, but also gather and eat all the food left behind by other passengers. They are both tired, lost, and impoverished, but Ali never fails to keep his son by his side. He resorts to stealing from shops while Sam stays confused on the streets just to buy food for them. A truck finally pulls up by them and the driver is here to pick them up. Ali criticizes him for running late, but the driver reports that he called Anna because he's been looking for them for an hour. The driver jokes with Sam and brings them over to a house where Sam's aunt, Anna, lives. The driver is also Anna's husband and gives them food, asking Ali about when he last saw Anna. Ali hasn't met Anna for 5 years and learns that she works as a cashier in a supermarket. Anna brings expired products from the supermarket where she works at, because they are still good to eat for another week. She puts the oldest ones on the top shelf and that's where Ali picks up 2 packets for himself and Sam. Anna's husband, Richard, does deliveries of frozen foods so they barely make ends meet. Anna enters the house while Ali is drinking the coffee Richard served him. She looks over to Sam and tells Ali that his son resembles him a lot, after which, they awkwardly greet each other. Anna empties Sam's bag, which has nothing inside except his passport, and a few clothes, because that's all his mother left. She didn't pack this bag and everything inside was there because she had forgotten about it. Ali recalls that Sam's mother used him. Anna questions how Ali would tend to Sam because she and Richard both have work. Anna asks if Sam used to go to a school and Ali has no idea, which disappoints her. She asks Sam directly and decides to enroll him in the nearby school as soon as possible. She also notices that he needs clothes, so she asks her neighbors for some hand-me-downs. Sam plays with the dogs at Anna's house and feeds them. He finds a good hiding spot in the old chicken coop. Anna and Ali watch over them and she explains that a breeder leaves his dogs here for a month, which earns them some extra cash. Richard shows Ali an old worn-down scooter that he promises still works. He also consults his neighbor, Chi, who does repairs and stores spare parts at their house, to confirm that the scooter can still run. They borrow Chi's toolbox and repair the scooter with his help so that Ali can use it to go to work. Ali tucks himself and Sam into bed that night as his son questions where his mom is and when she'll come back. The next day, he goes to a job interview, where he describes his last working experience in a slaughterhouse that shut down. We find out he also worked as an assistant security guard in a stadium for 6 months, and as a night watchman in a parking lot too. Furthermore, he was a boxer for 6 years and did kickboxing for 2 years. He won a regional championship in Belgium as proof of his boxing career that he left when his coach passed away. Ali lies in his interview, stating that he doesn't smoke, drink, or do any and requests the interviewer to trust him. The interviewer then walks him out and greets Anna, recognizing Sam to be Ali's son. Ali eventually gets hired as a bouncer in a club where he befriends his co-worker, Foud. He tells Ali that many of the girls heading into the club come out to be drunk and depressed, which means if they're nice enough to them, they might get laid. Ali breaks up a brawl at the club and rescues a woman who got hurt. Her name is Stephanie and her nose is bleeding profusely. She curses the man who hit her as she walks toward her car. Ali knows that she isn't capable of driving right now and offers to call a cab for her, but she insists that she needs her car, after which, she walks away. Some men catcall her so Ali steps up to send them away. She notices the bruises on her hand and realizes that she's more hurt than she thought. So, Ali drives her while his hand starts to swell from the punch he threw at the bar. He tries to guess why she went alone to a bar all dressed up and how she got into such a sticky situation. She shuts him up and he eventually drops her home. She offers to pay for his services, but he refuses. He instead requests her to check if she has any ice at her place, to help with his swollen hand. He offers to join her inside and she reluctantly lets him in. As Ali helps himself to some ice in the kitchen, a man welcomes Stephanie and asks about her injuries. Stephanie mentions that Ali is the bouncer from the annex, which makes the man upset about why she went there in the first place. She mentions Ali's swollen hand and they go into a room to talk while Ali looks around their apartment. While looking at photographs of Stephanie swimming in the sea with whales, he overhears them fighting. Stephanie comes out and checks in on Ali's injury. He asks her about the pictures and learns that she trains orcas as a job. He didn't expect her to have a job like that and she taunts him for his rude comment earlier. The man, Simon, comes out and tells Ali to leave. We learn that he only goes out on Stephanie's command, right after informing her that she has his number if she needs it. As Stephanie cleans herself up that night, Simon asks if she's okay. She mentions that she saw his face when Ali was in the apartment and how timid he got in a real man's presence. She clearly states she'll take no more orders from him. She wears her swimming gear the next day and starts performing with the whales at the local tourist park where she works. She dances to the rhythm of the music playing as the orcas perform tricks in the water. But things take a turn for the worse out of nowhere as one of the orcas jumps and lands on the station she's standing on. The platform collapses, and she falls into the water that turns bloody around her. Stephanie is still in the hospital where she tries to lift her hand but fails. She surveys her surroundings and attempts to sit up but falls back on her pillow. She wonders if anyone is around and finally pushes her torso up through her arms. When she removes the sheets from her lower body, she is traumatized to see that both of her legs have been amputated. She panics and falls to the floor, trying to crawl her way out of this nightmare that is her reality. She then suffers from an emotional meltdown and remains depressed, struggling to accept the tragedy that has befallen her. Her brothers are informed about her accident, but they only intend to visit her during the holidays. She stays in the hospital for many days, during which many people visit her, trying to sympathize, but she feels numb to all their compassion. She feels pathetic as the medical staff nurses her wounds from where her legs were, and she even contemplates ending it all. It seems as if her days of suffering will never come to an end. The nurse takes her to physiotherapy so she can learn to live with her disability, and offers to take her for a stroll while in her wheelchair, but she declines. Meanwhile, Ali has resumed boxing with Fouad and often checks out women at the Zumba classes at his gym. He hooks up with the Zumba instructor and gets a call, informing him that he forgot to pick up Sam from school again. Sam is loitering in the empty playground of his school when Ali finally gets there to pick him up. Sam's teacher reprimands Ali for this neglectful behavior because this has happened for the third time in 2 weeks. She threatens to call the police if this happens again, and he assures her that she won't be bothered again. Ali is working as security at a night job when his phone rings. He picks it up and hears a woman's voice on the other end who asks for him. She reminds him that she's Stephanie, the woman he rescued from a bar fight, and asks if he knows what happened to her. He mentions watching the accident on TV and catches her up on how he is a watchman now instead of a bouncer. He goes on his scooter to meet her at her apartment, where she lives alone now. She has been living there temporarily for 4 months since her insurance pays for it. House help comes and goes during the day, but he is still worried about her. He opens the curtains to let some sunlight in, which makes her question him whether the place stinks. Ali is truthful and admits that it does to some extent. He brings her out despite her protests, and she puts her sunglasses on to block the sunlight. They stop by the side of a street where he rolls a joint as she watches him. He expresses his desire to swim and invites her nonchalantly too. She is surprised at his insensitivity, and he assumes that the only reason she is refusing is because she doesn't have a bathing suit. He heads to the beach across the road nevertheless, and she eventually follows him. He is ready to jump in the water and she whistles from a distance to get his attention. He notices her and brings her to the beach with the help of a worker who picks up her wheelchair. While Ali swims in the water, Stephanie feels refreshed by the fresh sea breeze and the sound of seagulls. Once he comes out, she declares that she'll go in the water, so he passes her a towel to cover her legs while taking her pants off. Then he carries her into the sea and slowly releases her, giving her enough time to float. With time, she slowly gains her balance and takes off her top. Ali holds it for her as she swims away with her arms. He witnesses her feeling alive and exhilarated after a really long time. She later whistles to him once she's done swimming, and he carries her back to the shore. Stephanie later learns to dance in her wheelchair and accepts her fate a little better now. Still, she disposes of all her shoes and dresses because she'll never be able to wear them now. In the next scene, Ali watches boxing matches at his night job as a watchman when a man named Marshall arrives there. He installs secret security cameras at the store while Ali continues to watch fights with his co-worker. Marshall later asks Ali if he likes or participates in fighting, so Ali mentions his experience in boxing. Marshall tells him of a guy who organizes fights so Ali can earn some money. Unfortunately, that man seems shady, and Ali later narrates all this to Stephanie on their regular swims. This will be Ali's first time in a fight like this, but he doesn't seem afraid. Stephanie is disappointed to see that he'll put his life at risk for just 500 euros. She urges him to cancel the fight as she can give him 500 euros for not going tomorrow. But Ali has given them his word already and wants to fight for the fun of it. He insists it's not just about money for him, and he even invites her to come to his fight. Stephanie later goes to an appointment to get her mold made for a prosthetic leg that will not only allow her to walk, but wear heels too. She can't help shedding a single tear as the mold hardens around her limbs. Meanwhile, Ali is watching TV at home when Anna walks in on him and tells him to watch Sam because the breeder is there. She makes it very clear that he must keep an eye on Sam and make sure that he's not in the garden. She leaves Sam to sit with Ali and they watch fighting videos together. Ali gets a call and learns unexpected additional information about the commitment he just walked into. Sam eavesdrops for a while, after which, he goes to the balcony and sees the breeder taking away his dogs. He runs to Anna and the breeder, begging them not to take the dogs, all the while Ali talking on the phone angrily. In the next scene, Marshall drives Stephanie and Ali to the site where the fight will take place. They encounter a rocky road which makes Stephanie almost fall down from her seat. Ali fastens her seatbelt to keep her secured in one place as they pull up to the location. The men who have been waiting for them inquire who Stephanie is, so Marshall just tells them that she's his girlfriend. Ali and Stephanie are sitting in the car, looking at the fighters and dealers mingling outside. Marshall informs Ollie that the bets are over 2,000 euros and will go up from here. Women aren't allowed, so Stephanie must stay in the car while Ollie heads out. She watches him take off his shirt and start the fight as the men around them hype the fighters up. She then watches Ollie go at his opponent like a rabid dog until he wins. She smiles at him as he walks back to the car and sips some water. Even though this fight ended fast, he has another one in a few minutes, so he goes for a run to keep himself active. The brutal fights go on, and she intently watches Ollie emerge victorious in all of them. On the drive back home, Ollie makes Marshall stop at a petrol pump so he can take a shower, and he also buys a toy train set for Sam. This is the first time that Marshall and Stephanie hear that he has a son. When he comes home, he gives the toy to Sam to cheer him up, after which, he walks on the beach with Anna. She points out that he's never home to spend time with Sam. Ollie gives what he owes to Anna, who judges him even more for earning money through fights and getting himself beaten up. Sam then expresses how much he likes his toy and goes swimming with his father. Ollie is busy having fun that day, so he doesn't respond to Stephanie's calls. She has dinner by herself in her apartment that night. In the next scene, Ollie is on his night shift while Marshall continues to install secret cameras around the supermarket. He explains that his job isn't to watch the customers, but the staff, who might also steal from the store. The cameras are installed so the store manager can fire the unnecessary staff. He has his secret cameras installed in every supermarket, which is not technically legal, and might land a manager in hot water if he gets caught. Ollie listens to him as he helps him with the task. In the next scene, Stephanie finally has her prosthetic legs in and is learning to walk on them with a stick. She meets Ollie at the beach, who is amazed to see her back to normal. She has had these legs for 2 days and shows them to Ollie at his request. She walks with him with a smile on her face, and he asks if they should swim as usual. But all of this is new, and she wouldn't know how to undress with it, so she refuses. They then have lunch, and she is suddenly curious about his love life. According to him, he doesn't have any serious relationships and only sleeps around when he wants to. She, on the other hand, had a few lovers other than Simon before her accident. She loved male attention and all the men getting excited by her. But now she has forgotten what all that was like, and doesn't even know if her body works that way anymore. He frankly asks her if she wants to try out her body with him, so she laughs at how straightforward he is. But that's not how she wants to do it, so he tells her to let him know when she feels like it. She goes to her room to take off her prosthetic legs and lies in her bed, covering her lower body with the sheets. She gives him the signal to come in, hiding her prosthetics under the bed. He enters and undresses himself before getting into bed with her. She is nervous and talking too much, but he takes the lead, removing all the sheets and treating her body like normal. Stephanie feels good afterward, but is not sure about what this means for her. She is still getting to know her new body, so he lets her know that she can call him over whenever he wants. He promises to come over if he's not working, then takes his leave. She knows they can do this regularly, so she feels great about it. Afterward, she tries her hand gestures on her balcony and feels like she is getting her old self back again. She also returns to her old workplace and reconnects with the orcas she used to train. She meets her co-workers and has lunch with them, during which she leaves Ollie a text. They hook up again, but at his house this time. Anna arrives there as soon as they're finished and is surprised to see that Ollie has started to bring girls here. He signals Stephanie to come out and introduces her to Anna, who recognizes her as the poor girl from the Marineland accident. Stephanie also meets Sam and plays with him while Anna tries to be a good host. Sam takes her up to his room and looks at her in fascination. He watches her prosthetic legs and asks if it hurts. She tells him that it doesn't as he feels her robotic legs. Ollie continues to train and make money through fights, accompanied by Stephanie. They go to a club with Marshall and some friends, where Stephanie envies all the girls dancing and showing their legs off in short dresses. Ollie grooves on the dance floor while she remains seated at the table with others. He eventually finds a woman who whispers something in her ear, after which, he takes off with her, leaving the others and Stephanie behind. This affects Stephanie, who moves to the bar to drink. A man named Pierre buys her a drink and starts to talk to her. She tells him a false name and continues to engage with him while drinking the champagne he bought her. After a while, she refuses to hook up with him, because she's not in the mood. As she begins to get up, he notices her legs and points it out. This angers Stephanie, who throws her champagne in his face and creates a scene. The bouncer then brings Marshall to resolve the situation. When she meets him the next day, he seems tired and recalls his last night being normal. She questions whether the conversation they're having right now is normal too. She nags at him for picking up a girl right in front of her, and demands him to put himself in her shoes. He claims that he wouldn't care who she'd be with, and makes it known that she's bothering him right now. She questions what the nature of their relationship is, and sets her conditions if he wants to continue being with her. She wants him to be delicate and exclusive. The employees at one of the supermarkets catch Marshall's secret surveillance, which causes a disruption. Ollie goes there to pick up the equipment and is recorded threatening to beat up one of the employees. Marshall later meets up with Stephanie and discloses that he'll have to disappear for a few months to not get charged. Ali wants to continue fighting and wants her to replace Marshall as his manager. This is because Ali trusts her, and Marshall also thinks that she can handle being the bookie at those fights. She buys an automatic car that she can drive by herself, gets her thigh tattooed, and continues hooking up with Ali. Her journey of empowerment goes on as she makes Ali and herself tons of money at the fights. One morning, Ali wakes up in Stephanie's room because he fell asleep on her bed. He doesn't care and picks her up to make her sit on the toilet. She giggles at this new experience and they kiss for the first time. In the next scene, Anna gets fired from work because the secret cameras caught her stealing. She sees the video with Ali and blames him for making her lose her job. When he comes home that evening, she gives him the cold shoulder and accuses him of making her unemployed. Ali tries to explain that he didn't know this would happen, but she slaps him across the face. He turns aggressive, so Richard pulls a gun on him and kicks him out. He disappears to Strasbourg, leaving both Sam and Stephanie behind without any explanation. There, he starts a career in professional boxing while Richard brings Sam over occasionally for them to spend some time together. They have the best day together until Sam frozen lake. Ali rushes him to the hospital where Stephanie calls him. He breaks down in front of her because he got really scared of losing his son. But all ends well as Ali wins the championship and rides off to live a happy and fulfilled life with Sam and Stephanie now because he has learned to love.